With it being 6:30, I'll call tonight's meeting of the Board of Select with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Good one.
Okay. Roll call. Bruce Sharps.
Here.
Kathleen DeWolf.
Here.
Casey Barney.
Here.
Harold Lamus, I'm here. Fran is absent with notice. First off, we have approval of minutes for March 19th. Anybody have anything in there that jumped out to them?
I did not find anything. Wendy's getting good.
She is. She's catching up on it. I haven't caught an error in a couple weeks. That's great.
My favorite one was the Jane Seymour one.
Oh yes, Jane Seymour with the chimps, yes. That was
Now where your head was at.
That was cute.
I didn't see anything that jumped out, but
I didn't either.
entertain a motion for approving these minutes
I'll
of March 19th.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of March 19th.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nay? No nay? Okay, moving on. Consent agenda for the weeks of March 19th. Accounts payable, $75,647. Payroll, $19,381. Week of March 26th. Accounts payable, $48,133. And payroll, $16,449. Thank you letter to Daniel Stack for service to the town. Now, I was privileged enough to work with Dan on the Conservation Commission for a little bit. He's brought a lot to the table for the town, and we have a letter here. I believe Charlie still has the original, but I'd like for everybody to sign it, and so he knows how much we appreciate it. We'll get a frame for it.
Have you read it?
Yep, I can read it. Dear Mr. Stack, the Town of Ashland Board of Selectmen would like to express our sincere thank you for your time and dedication representing the Town of Ashland on the Pemigewasset River Local Advisory Committee. The representation you have helped provide not only protects our river, but our shorelands and our water quality. Thank you again for your service to the Town of Ashland.
Harold?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that I worked with Dan on that committee. I'm on that committee, and he was a great addition to the committee, and I thank him. And I'll just let the public know that Kathleen is going to be our new resident member, not as a select board liaison, but as a resident member. So we welcome her.
Thank you. I also worked with Dan on the Conservation Commission. He was on PREWAC. I think he was one of the, he was way back.
Yeah, he was one of the
And,
founding.
yes,
One of the
and
originals, yeah.
I think when they first did their updated inventory of the river.
Yeah, the Matrix.
Yeah, and he was in charge of doing water testing for many, many years. So,
Yeah, he was one of the few that actually physically went out to the field.
yes, yes.
His dedication is something for us all to model ourselves after. Okay, moving forward. We have our MS 232 form that we need to sign to the DRA in regards to our warrants that have passed and also our costs incurred. Wendy, do you have the original for this evening, or is that something that Charlie holds?
Is
That
it?
would, yeah, I don't have the
It's in
original.
the office, I think.
It's
Okay.
not in the, to be signed folder maybe?
Check it.
Selectmen's file.
This is a copy, right?
Yes, that's a copy. Me and Kathleen and I have already signed it. I think it's in this one. Check.
The selectmen's signature folder.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's
Remind me,
there.
I'm new to this. Okay. You go, sir. Now we're up to the MS 232. Speaking of Daniel Stack and his dedication to our town. And we're talking about the 232. Okay.
Yeah, they're signing that.
Moving on as we sign this. Parks and Rec Director Barney for department heads.
Yes. I just wanted to talk quickly about the equipment at the playground, ballpark.
Yeah.
It's in rough shape. It's from 1978, I believe it is, so it's 40 years old.
It's the original when they got the grant.
Yeah, I believe so. That's the picture that is on the
I think we have.
front of the book, so I've been talking to Mark Liebert, who is the head of AARA, and we've been trying to brainstorm. We've got some quotes in from different places, and what we would like to do is do some fundraising. Try to offset the cost before I have to, you know, come to the town, do a warrant article, all that. So basically what I'm here tonight for is to talk to you guys and find out if that's all right. If we do that kind of thing, me helping them, but it would go into the AARA fund. That way it doesn't get mixed up with the town stuff, and then you guys would have to vote to accept it
Yeah.
at a later date when we either get the whole thing, or if we get half and I can get a grant to match it, or however it pans out. But that's what I'd like to do.
How much do you think you need to raise, Ann?
The quotes are between $75,000 and $80,000.
No, I know this stuff isn't.
It's not cheap.
No, it's not.
No, we've needed that for quite a while.
Right, they don't even make the wooden ones anymore. So, I mean, before Tim's crew was fixing them, and Craig, I've had to, you know, now that the snow's gone, there's gonna be boards we have to fix and stuff, so it's just old and tired.
I think it's great you're collaborating with another entity. I'm all for that. If you put your heads together and work to a common goal, it's a win-win for the kids and for the town.
Will this be a similar unit to what they installed at the school this past year? Will it be with a metal unit, or have you not decided yet?
Yeah, well, the ones we've looked at are the metal and plastic, the hard plastic,
Yeah.
so, yeah, basically that's,
I've noticed that seems to be, with my children still being small, we go to all the playgrounds, and I see that Interlakes has changed to that,
yes.
as well as the elementary school here, so it's a good time to freshen it up.
Yeah, and most of that stuff, they use the recycled stuff, so.
Will you
And
be
they
doing,
guarantee them for 30 years, the place that I have it. And
Wow.
the one we've had is 40, but it will guarantee it
quite a
for
while.
30.
Yeah.
will you be doing the plastic mulch at the same time?
That's new,
I
isn't
don't
it?
remember what the mulch was.
Is it 2 years ago we did
was-
that, or is it
It
last
was
year?
before me.
Okay, it was before you.
I think it was 2 years ago.
No, she's been here
Wasn't
3.
too far.
This
No.
is my third.
Yeah, this is her 3rd year, so it has to be
Okay.
3.5 or
3
4
and a
years.
half then.
Okay, I knew it was coming up
Yeah.
soon. Any questions from the board? I know we already asked some, but you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? No? Okay then. Make a motion to allow Director Barney to move forward with fundraising activity in collaboration with the AARA.
Make that motion.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? You have it, Ms. Barney.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Department of Public Works Director, Craig Moore.
So I sent you guys an email, and it's in the packet of what we're trying to do. Just so the public knows, we're trying to not replace the backhoe, but supplement its use with a 2001 wheeled excavator currently available at MB Tractor. It's in good shape. Departments of Meredith and
New Hampton?
Meredith and can't think of the other one, but there was two towns. Guilford. That had rented this machine last year from MB Tractor, both for half the summer. So it's exactly what they used it for is what we would use it for. So it's a good opportunity for us to upgrade the 1988 backhoe that we have. That's pretty rough shape. It's what I would call not safe. The first time I worked around that, it's pretty jerky. It's got direct hydraulic controls on it. So that means whenever you twist the handles to make the action move, you're opening a valve mechanically. So they don't make them like that anymore. It's all electric over hydraulic. So this new unit would have creeper controls on it, which allows for, I mean, I could pick up a tennis ball off a cone, and when we go for training, that's exactly what they make you do, is pick up a tennis ball with a bucket to show how safe it is.
Wow.
So they make you learn how to do that. Without backhoe, we could never do that. We'd knock the cone over, and that cone represents a body when you go for training. So it's the same thing with driving. You hit a cone, you hit a person. So they show you how to operate it, and it's so much safer. And it's time to upgrade. The other half of it is last year we received some block grant money. So it's really zero impact to the town. We got an extra $48,000 last year. So we'd like to take that block grant and use it to purchase this unit. So right now, that money's sitting there, waiting for us to use it from the state. The state does allow you to use that for equipment as well.
We have to spend it within 12 calendar months, correct?
Yeah, we have to spend it this year. So it's a good opportunity to get something replaced that I suspect will last us a good many years, maybe 10 to 15 years.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah. Does it come with any other attachments that you can
It
get
does
for it?
have 2 buckets, so it's got a digging bucket, so if we have to replace say a drain pipe or something, culvert, we can do that, and it's got a grade bucket, what we would use for ditching the roads,
Yeah.
which greatly need everywhere around on all our dirt roads and all our other roads too need it.
Now, this being a rental unit, if we acquire it,
Yep.
will it come with either, new tires, or will it be prorated, or how do they do that? Do they install the
Well,
sharpen
it's
the
a
teeth?
2001, so
Yep.
it's as is,
Okay,
but the good news is we have spare tires we can put on it right now.
Oh,
That you don't have to put agricultural tires that are on there, you can put regular road tires on this.
yeah.
And we have some available already. The tires are probably got another couple of years before we have to do that, maybe more, because we're not gonna use it a lot. I think that the thing averages about 8.5 hours of use over its lifetime per week. So it's relatively low hours. Most of the units that age have like 15,000 hours on them. This only has about 7.
Do
So
you,
it's really good shape. We looked at it. Like I said, it was rented all last year with no problems, no issues.
what I like about it is you can do finesse work with this.
That's right, yeah.
That the front end loader is just way too big.
It's way too
overkill.
big, yep, and
Yeah.
the backhoe's way too small for a lot of the stuff,
Yeah.
and just can't control it very well.
I don't know a lot about these, but I guess my number one question is, would this expand the amount of work that you can do without contracting out to people?
Yeah, we could, there's some drain work we could do. Right now, our backhoe won't lift up a lot of the rocks if we have a rock in the way. Just doesn't have the power to get it out. We went through that a couple times last year when we're trying to take out a rock with a backhoe and loader. And like you said, trying to get the loader in some places is too big. And we eventually got it, but with this unit, you can just pull these things out. It's made for it,
So by using the state funds, in turn, we would be able to save the taxpayers money by performing tasks that we would previously contract out?
That's right, absolutely. In fact, we could even go further, if water and sewer had a break, a water
Help
main
them
break.
out, one
we
hand
could help
washes
them
the
out.
other.
We could provide an operator to operate that backhoe. They wouldn't have to hire La Tulip or anything like that. We'd have that equipment.
Well, Craig spoke to me about the cattail area down at the beach.
This would be great around the water, you don't have any tracks.
That's right,
To
there's no
use there.
tracks, but where we're gonna do that ditch work, we
Yeah.
wouldn't need tracks. It would just,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, depending on where you are, if you have tracks, you actually have to get a PBN to just drive near because of the media that you'll
Yeah.
literally track in.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about this, we don't need a trailer or anything, we drive it to where we need it. So that's why all public works is one of these units.
I mean, 20 miles an hour, that's fast
Yeah.
enough to get in where we need it in town.
Absolutely, yep.
Even with a tag-along vehicle behind you on the higher speed limits.
Perfect, yep, it works perfectly fine, yep.
Well, I would entertain a motion to move forward upon this and make a decision. Anyone?
I'll make that motion to move forward and give the okay to purchase this piece of equipment.
I'll second it.
Second, okay. Any other questions from the audience? The audience have any questions?
How much does it cost?
This
46,900.
46,900, and it's coming out of the state fund of 48,000 that we've received. So there'll actually still be 1,100 remaining in that account that we'll have to allocate in the next 12 months.
So it's 48,000, but I'm gonna try to drew them down. Not gonna offer them right at the top yet.
No, no.
I know,
I wouldn't.
say that. Don't say that.
So we'll see what we can get.
Okay, could I get a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Well, Craig, looks like you're going to pick
And you
yourself up an
negotiated with
excavator.
them,
I will.
not the other word you used.
That's right, I'll
You
negotiate.
negotiated.
Okay,
That says the original amount, but
Kathleen,
I'll
start with that.
I'll fill it out with.
And while we're filling this out, I guess we'll speak to your next item, Craig. You have one more item with
Yeah,
us?
I have another PO for the annual sweeping.
Okay.
and that's just the regular sweeping that you see every year. But along with that, they're gonna get them to do catch basin cleaning too.
Okay.
Which is gonna save us about $400 from using Belmore. So that's a good deal. We're gonna do sweeping and catch basin with the same company this year.
Okay.
And they're gonna give us a $400 savings by using both of that service, so.
Now, is this something, if we have a remainder left over from purchasing this wheeled excavator, could we take the remaining funds from that and put it towards the 6,200?
Yep.
That might be a good way to make sure that we're all set.
Absolutely.
Put us around 5,000?
Yep,
You gotta press hard.
Yep.
Okay.
absolutely could do that.
Okay. Any questions of the
Nice.
board?
Nope.
Any questions of the audience? Well, I would entertain a motion to move forward with this for DPW Director Craig
You do
Moore.
it this time, right?
I'll make that motion.
Oh, Casey's.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have Chief Tony Randall. Tony, would you like to come up?
The new cruiser has been dropped at Irwin, and I sent a letter out to, I think, the select board to have the money released from the capital reserve fund to pay for that cruiser.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen the letter or not, but as a matter
Yeah,
of
your
fact-
letter? Yeah, they got a copy of your letter.
Okay, great. So the money needs to be released. Irwin's actually let me take possession of the car today, so we have the new car. It's actually being housed right now down at the fire station in the wash bay that they have down there, so that we can keep it somewhat clear and clean until we actually get it outfitted, which right now, talking to Osby on Electronics, it looks like it's somewhere around the 14th or 16th of April where we'll get it in over there.
Okay.
I'm still working on getting, because of a, I don't know if it's a, what do I want to use for a word? For the decaling, we always use a particular person, but now I gotta go out and get 3 bids. Because there's a state law that says that any selectman, if there's something involved. So,
Right.
so now I gotta do the aggravation to go out and get 3 bids. So I don't know. I can understand if somebody's gonna profit by tens of thousands of dollars, but a few $100.
Well,
She's always done a great job on her vehicles, and it just kills me. So I'm working on that part of it now, trying to make sure everybody's giving me quotes for the same thing, so that no one's gonna whine and cry later on. So.
Well, it gives you some time. If Osprey Mountain's a little ways out, it'll give you some time to get
yeah,
your
but
paperwork
every
together.
day is, it's amazing to me how fast the day goes by. It's like walking up a slippery slope. You never get to the way you want it to get by the end of the day,
yes, I
so.
think we all know that.
So I'm working on those. The other thing I'd like to do is like to publicly thank the taxpayers for their support in this endeavor for the capital reserve fund for replacing our cruisers. It's very important, and it's
Yes.
actually working out well for the town and the taxpayer, and it doesn't spike our taxes. And so it's a long-range planning, and it's actually worked out very well for us.
Yes, it has.
So, that's it for
I agree.
the capital reserve. So we're just gonna cut the check, mail it to Irwin's, and that part of it should be a done deal. I'd just like to bring up one other thing. We do have the drug take-back coming on April 28th, and the Ashland Police Department is participating again. I think we've done it every year. I've been the chief.
It's a great program.
And I will remind you again at the next selectmen's meeting, because it's really at the end of the month, but I want people to turn in their unused drugs to us so they can be disposed of properly. And that's all I have.
Any questions in regards to the cruiser from the board?
No, thank you.
Do we need a motion or anything?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I'm gonna. Any questions from the audience? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to allow the monies to be moved.
Go ahead, Casey.
To allow the monies to be moved by the trustees of the town to pay for this cruiser for the police department.
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
I think you guys actually did that when you told me to order the cruiser.
Yeah, we
Yeah, you
did.
did. But the amount,
I just,
26,897 is the right amount, right?
that is, I handed off to, I think Patsy, the paperwork I handed to her,
Yeah.
have the thing registered,
All right.
has that amount on there. So,
Just wanted to make sure that's enough that we wanted to request from the
Yeah,
capital
that
reserves.
is for the payment of the cruiser. Once I get the cruiser outfitted, then I'll ask for another check to be cut to release the funds to pay for that
Oh, okay.
and for the decaling, so. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Next on our agenda, we have the payment of town moderator for warrant article recount.
That's me.
Would you like to speak to that, Charlie?
The town moderator was present at the recount that occurred, I believe, last week?
Yeah.
The week before. In any event, after the recount, the moderator asked for payment of $150 for attendant. There's no set law or policy as to whether or not, how much we pay and how we pay. She did ask that I asked the board for payment.
Do you have an opinion on this? I know usually that's not.
Well, it varies from town to town. I mean, some towns pay hourly, some towns have set fee, and some consider it as a continuation as to service as being a moderator.
Right.
So, I mean, I know Kathleen had some research that she
Yeah,
got.
I just put in duties, town moderator, New Hampshire, and I came with it was a 9-page document put out by the New Hampshire Bar Association. And Patsy sent us out an original email stating that many towns look at it as a continuation. And everybody has a copy, and it says what the duties are. Yes, all that was taken care of until a recount was asked. Once that was initiated, and I'll quote this, upon the completion of these tasks, which is, going through the checklist and boxing them up and doing the tally, upon the completion of these tasks, absence a request for a recount of a local ballot question or election result, the moderator is done with his election duties until the next election. So this basically echoes what Patsy had given us for information. I think it's 10 days that people can ask for a recount. So until that time comes, she's still kind of on the clock. Nobody asks for a recount, then she's done, or they are done, whoever. So if I didn't have this information, I might feel differently, but since I do have this information, I view it as a continuation of the March 13th election.
Yeah, I've read that and I realize that too, but I also appreciate our moderator and I really don't want to lose her, and I don't think it's, I'd like to make a motion to pay her the $150 for that hour.
Is there a second?
For discussion?
Yeah, you can second discussion.
Second for discussion.
Okay. Well, I've heard some of the points. I guess I would look at it as this. I do recall not too long ago that we had no moderator. And this woman did step forward after she said she was no longer going to fill that position. And she's done a real good job doing it.
Right.
That is, I mean, I'll be honest, I mean, money is money, but in this situation, it doesn't happen very much. But I feel as if it would be harder to obtain a new moderator than to obtain another $150.
I agree.
That's where I look at it. I think that in a town where we are honestly grasping for strings for volunteers, that I don't want to chase one away for basically the pay of one day. She was there. I understand that it was a shorter recount, but at the same time, if we had a recount for a presidential election and it was a 7-hour endeavor or a 5-hour endeavor, she wouldn't ask any more than the $150. So I have to look at it through that scope of view. I think that you have a good point, Kathleen, where it says it's a continuation. I am very fearful that we are running out of volunteers in this town.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Can I get a vote on it? We've got more discussion?
Casey, do you have any
Well,
discussion?
No, I mean, the way that this is read, you can read it in two different ways. You can say the duties are a continuation throughout the entire period. You can say that they have certain duties on certain days when they show up. And I think that's where there's confusion. So I'm fine with I would be fine from a logistical point of view doing either, but I agree with you and Lee that if it's a matter of $150 versus...
No, I understand that point of view, but at the same time, that means we open up a can of worms.
Right, and that's why, I think that's why we asked what other towns do,
Yeah.
whether there was a precedent or not, but it sounds like there's...
Right.
I mean, I dug today and I didn't find
Not
any
one.
particular RSA that said yay or nay to how to act with this. It's kind of open
Yeah.
to interpretation.
I'll have to go with the majority of the board. It's just when I have information in front of me.
I appreciate
that-
you bringing this
yeah,
forward.
That's what I have to act on. This had nothing to do with personality or
No, that's good.
or anything like that, because then once you go down that road, you can't
Yes,
take that
and
information
that's why we're
back.
not referring
Yeah.
to names or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's just the
Yeah.
town moderator.
Yeah.
Right,
And that's how
kind
we
of
have
setting
to
a
leave it.
precedent, but...
Yeah, it does set a precedent that we might have to deal with at another time.
Right, I mean... Yeah,
And we'll do that.
understand.
And we'll cross that bridge when we come
get to it.
Kinda-
As the crow flies.
I
But
mean, I'm fine with paying $150, but I do see that it's setting a precedent for something else.
Charlie, do you see this as being an issue if we move forward with paying the town moderator for this time? Is this going to, anything else that you think will be setting a precedent as far as carved in stone? I mean, I don't want to make waves, but at the same time, I don't want to lose one of our
Right.
volunteers that kind of
Exactly.
makes it happen.
Yeah.
Most things are in RSA anyways, it's
Yeah.
just a niche case where
It is.
it's not set in stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, I do hope that we have some sort of booklet or something that spells out what the duties are, so it's very clear what's included and what isn't. You know, otherwise we're kind of freelancing.
In terms of the moderator, or?
Any duty that evolves around an RSA, usually it's spelled out. And to try to go beyond that, I call that freelancing. And this is usually where you kind of, you're apt to get into trouble, hopefully no. And with that, I would make a motion that we take a
We
vote.
got-
on
we
this.
have one.
Got that one?
We have one.
Okay, then I'll second the motion.
Seconded.
Good
We
one.
just have to take
Okay.
a vote.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed? Okay, Charlie, we need to cut the town moderator check.
Cut the check.
Moving on. Old business? Do we have any old business, anyone? Bring forward? No? Okay.
Got new business.
New business? Charlie's got new business.
So this is the RFP for the LCHIP grant. The LCHIP was the warrant article that passed this year to do, you know, historical structural analysis of the old town hall. This LCHIP RFP was sent to the Heritage Commission, and they subsequently have sent it back to the board. So what you see is pretty much final. They've also made a recommendation as to 3 consultants that we could reach out to with this RFP. It's pretty straightforward. This actually came from the LCHIP folks. The one thing that we have to decide is A, if this is what we want to use, and B, when do we want the proposals back by?
Is there a standardized time frame for which we put these out? Is it 90 days or 60 days?
No, it's gotta be shorter than that.
Okay.
Because we have to wrap this up by the end of the year.
Okay.
The grant expires at the end of the year, so we have to request for reimbursement by December 31st. You know, there might be an extension, I don't know, but I don't know if I want to chance it either.
Do you think that 30 days would be a long enough time frame to get these back? Or, I mean,
I was hoping we could have the interviews, well, we want to do interviews, I was hoping we can have the interviews done by April.
we're in April.
My understanding.
The end of April.
Okay.
My understanding is either they have room on their calendar to do this or they don't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and these firms that they're recommended have dealt with these types of grants before in the past. They're experienced. I mean, they're from a list, LCHIP has a list of architects, consultants that deal with historical structures.
They're all highly accredited. I mean, we have one here that's local, but the other 2 I've read some on them, and they're all highly accredited. Well, if you're confident that by the end of the month that this is something that you could.
I don't know, what do you guys think?
Questions from the board?
I would say
hope
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah,
I would say the end of the month.
Yeah.
yeah,
End of the month.
right. Well,
Interviews by the end of the month, or until the end of the month?
Until the end of the month.
Yeah, get the RFPs back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then have the schedule
Okay.
interviews over those next 2 weeks. I mean, the interviews,
Yeah.
if there's only 3, you can probably
Right.
take a day.
Right,
You know.
That's what we did last time, was 3, right, when we did the sidewalks.
right.
Okay.
I'm,
That sounds fine.
since, well, no, I'm just the liaison now, but at the time when we were discussing this, we wanted to make sure we found somebody local. We didn't have to want to pay any transportation
Yeah, that
or
gets very
any of that
expensive.
stuff.
Yeah, that's how we
Yeah.
came down to these 3.
Okay. I'm sure that you two know more than I in this regards. You were here walking, we saw you on the videotape, walking through.
And we did discuss this at our last
We did.
Heritage Commission meeting, and that's how we pared this down to these 3.
Three, yeah.
Okay.
So you think a good date might be by, what's the, I don't know, calendar?
Today's the 2nd,
Have them by our next meeting?
so by the 16th? I mean,
That
tentatively.
Have that Friday, is that too soon?
Kind of,
Yee.
I don't know, what do you think?
yeah.
We talked about it before.
David, he just was like,
Well, see, all right, so Williams Architects, the Heritage folks reached out to them last year, and they're basically ready to go.
from
Right.
Meredith, I
You know,
believe, right?
yeah, they're from Meredith. So, I don't know.
I guess I'd entertain a motion to get the RFPs back, let's say by the 15th, and then have to, by the end of the month, to select and set up
Okay.
interviews. That'll keep us on the time schedule that you wanted within the month of April.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can I get a motion for that?
Do you want to say the 15th, or do you want to say before our meeting?
Before the meeting, yeah,
Yeah,
before the meeting.
So that'd be Monday the 15th?
Monday the 16th.
16th,
16th,
okay.
so 15th. No, so it'd have to be that Friday,
The 13th?
the 13th,
Friday
right?
the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Oh.
Anyone want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Any questions? No question? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, good enough, thank you. What else we got?
New bus- Are we still under new
Yep,
business?
still under new business. Do we have any new business?
Yeah, last week we received a letter, I can only speak for this a little bit, but I think all of us received a letter from the code enforcement officer. I thought it was gonna be on the agenda, but I guess no one asked you to put it on the agenda. But, we all received a letter asking, telling us that he would like to override a decision by the planning board to allow a home occupation on Mill Pond Road. I'm gonna have to recuse myself from the, Kathleen is gonna give you the information, because I voted on this, so I can't discuss it further than, or voting, further than telling everybody, this was a woman who came before us and is seeking a temporary home occupation license so that she can sell cars from Craigslist on her property on the corner of Mill Pond Road, but keeping 2 vehicles in the garage, not having a commercial business or anything like that. And it's temporary until her license and a probate court issue is cleared in Belmont, and then she'll be moving the entire operation to Belmont. So it's a matter of a couple months.
Yep.
And we approved it. And then we got this letter from the code enforcement officer, the board did last week, asking us that he would like to override, supersede it. So Kathleen is gonna tell you what our options are.
Well,
Okay.
what is the status? Do you
Well,
know?
the way I interpret it, as he was saying, he would recommend an appeal that decision by the planning board. And appeals of the planning board are to go, that zoning is supposed to go to ZBA.
Right.
So I sent it to the zoning board.
So we already.
I haven't seen it yet.
So that was the information. If this letter was appealed to be decided the BOS, it's too late. The clock started ticking. So by today, the 30 days have come and gone. If this letter is appealed, if this is his appeal, wait, this is his appeal, then he has to do the proper paperwork through the ZBA. And once again, this is time-sensitive issue. He has to be addressed within 30 days. Am I correct, Eli?
Do we have anything to do?
Since I will not be sitting on this
Yeah.
board, again, the administrative appeal should have been, since this decision was done on
January.
March 1st, something like that.
His letter's dated March 23rd. The decision by the planning board was February 28th.
Okay. Our application says 30 days. In the RSA, it says a reasonable time period. In our rules of procedure, we chose 30 days several years ago because that
It's me.
mirrors some of the other appeal rules. So the appeal has to be, should have been filed a few days ago. It would be up to the board whether they wanted to override their own application rule. Now, as to what the procedure should have been, the planning board made a decision, issued a notice of decision that obviously sat in the office for time without being reviewed.
Yep.
Now, I know when I send out a decision, the Board of Selectmen is noted, the town administrator is noted, the planning board is noticed, code enforcement is noticed. So they generally have, or should have, letters in their boxes
There's no
with notice
CC.
of decisions.
There's no CC to the zoning board or the planning board on this letter. As a courtesy.
My personal concerns are to ensure continuity. We had another business come forth maybe 6 to 8 months ago in regards to storage of antique vehicles with a greater distance proximity away from Squam River. They had to come before us. They had to look into DES restrictions, whereas Squam River is a protected river, whereas the Pemi is a protected river. Yet this seemed to slip through the cracks. So I'm just trying to ensure some continuity.
I don't agree with you, Harold. Not more than one vehicle may be parked outside. We have many residents in town that have more than
I understand, but
vehicle.
there's a difference, for profit and residents. I think that's the only stumbling block I have there. Because we made someone else jump through hoops, and I just want to make sure there's nothing here that's going to backlash upon the Board of Select.
Let me ask, can I ask you something? Was the planning board's decision, should have been dealt by the zoning board? Was it a zoning violation in that they need to apply to the ZBA for an exception?
They would have, originally, I would feel that it would have been a special exception. Now, the thing with the ZBA, if we granted a special exception to have
Runs with the property.
it goes with the property. It doesn't, it's not a temporary, it's not a temporary solution. You can't do it for 60 days. You can't, it runs the length of the person. So I wasn't asked, I wouldn't have been able to give a real opinion except to show people where it is in the in our zoning ordinance.
So I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a minute. This is why we need to interface with people that are working on this. Emails can be confusing, misunderstood. You need to look at somebody and speak to them. I don't know how you could, it's not my concern how you do it, but there's something about speaking to people so you understand what's happening.
Meaning the code enforcement officer.
Yes, the code enforcement
That's what
officer,
you mean.
who I still have never seen, has to find somehow to interface, and I'm going to use that word, interface with the people he has to work with. Because not even CCing as a courtesy, the two boards who are involved in this stuff, how are you supposed to take that?
Was it CC to the Conservation Commission with the
No,
proximity? of the river?
Harold, I don't know, because that's not what we're talking about.
I understand, but if you're going to CC someone, you should CC the whole gamut.
No, Harold, we are talking about this particular case, nothing that happened 6 months down the road, just what's in front of us here now. So, if Mr. LaPlante hasn't done the paperwork, I guess the point's moot.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, what exactly are we to do in this situation? Sounds like we can't do anything.
I don't know if we can, but why would we want to override something we haven't participated in and second guess the planning board?
The last thing we need is to be accused of micromanaging.
Yeah,
The way that I understand this is that we don't make the decision. It would have to come from him to the other boards, right?
Yeah.
So we're not involved.
Yeah.
but if you don't even communicate by
Right, yeah,
email,
you send it to their own groups.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
not really, but,
Well, he can't do anything about it this time.
no, we can't, but going
I mean,
forward.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Really? Going forward. And this is, and all of us that have been on different boards and committees, we have to make every effort to be one step ahead, to be transparent, to put everything, including the kitchen sink out there if we have to. So we cover, let's put it blank, we have to cover ourselves because there's been more than one incident. Things have come back and it's cost the town lots and lots of money because communication was not done. So,
Mr. Badger, did you have a comment?
Well, there's time for talking about a procedural issue which could be dealt with not here.
Yep.
As far as this goes, you control the building inspector code enforcement officer. It is up to you whether he enforces something or not.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Yes, Tony.
Okay, I have a couple questions, because this is kind of within my...
That's what you do.
The first question I have is, did they grant something that was allowable use in that zone?
That's my question.
Okay, if they didn't, then it has to go to the ZBA.
yeah,
The second part of it is the appeal put in on time? We have a 30-day time frame. If it's not put in on time, your hands are tied.
right.
Yep.
And now it's gonna take some type of court action by somebody to go after it, so. And like Eli said, you grant this special exception, it runs with the property.
Yeah,
So
it
the next
does.
owner comes in and decides they wanna sell a few cars like that, they're gonna be able to do it. So that's why we have zoning. You have to be very careful about that. It's not a temporary thing, okay? It would have been easy if it was handled correctly at the planning board level.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's allowable use, that's not a home business selling
not.
automobiles.
No.
Okay? So now we get the appeal, but the appeal's actually too late, so now there's not really a whole lot you're gonna be able to do about it. And if she's only gonna be there for 2 or 3 months or whatever it is, and then it's gonna go away, then I think it goes away.
Yeah.
And then the next time it comes in, it'll be a learning lesson for everybody.
That's
to
right.
Make sure that they're
Yeah.
looking at what uses are allowable in the zone that they're dealing with, because that's the first thing anybody should be asking themselves. Is this an allowable use in the zone in which it's being presented to be used? That's the simplest question. That dictates on whether it goes to the ZBA or it doesn't.
Okay, and I'll work with the building inspector more on the procedural aspect of it.
Yeah, he's gotta pick up his information and respond to it.
But
Quicker
in
than a
all
month.
fairness to him, he works 1 day a
I
week
know.
for 4 hours, and that's what the town wanted.
Yeah.
So that's what you get.
Yeah.
Did mention it.
So that's an issue.
And you get what you pay for.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to make a motion to not override the decision of the planning board, because at this time, I believe that you folks are correct. It is the lesser of the two evils, and that we do not want to set ourselves up for failure down the road.
Do we even need the
Second,
motion?
I think we do. It was in front of us for new business.
Okay, I just didn't think we could do anything, but I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Abstain? One abstain? Okay,
Alrighty.
good enough. Moving on. Do we have any other new business? Anyone?
No.
Okay. Select board items.
So I can handle this one for Harold.
Yes, you can.
The board appointed Vice Chairman Lamos as a liaison to the Conservation Commission. That appointment doesn't give him voting rights. He has to be a member, so you need to change him from being a liaison to a member.
Does, this would mean that we would have to appoint another liaison from the board though, right?
No.
No, because you don't need an ex officio, there's no ex officio.
No. Oh, we
lia-
don't?
No, only the
Oh,
land
okay.
use boards.
Land use.
Oh, all right, okay.
And conservation's not a land use board.
Right.
So, just a motion to appoint.
I'll make a motion to nominate Harold for that position.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll abstain.
All right.
3 to 0 to 1.
So as you know, earlier you signed a letter to Mr. Stack. Kathleen DeWolf has requested to be nominated to take that replacement on Prelac. It's a nomination, it's not an appointment. The official appointment comes from DES. In your packet, or in the packet there, she submitted an application that subsequent, if this board signs off on, we'll send that to DES for appointment. There's no conflict by having more than one selectman on Prelac.
Right.
They are more than happy to have as many folks as they possibly can, they said.
We can have one more Ashland representative in
yeah.
fact. We can have 3
Yeah.
on the board.
I did note I was applying to be as a resident.
Okay, right, but
Yeah, that-
they know that you're a select person, but he just wanted to make sure we didn't have 3 select people on the board,
Yeah.
you know, as a
Yeah.
quorum. So, yeah, we know.
So I'll entertain a motion on this matter.
I'll make that motion
What motion is
to
that?
appoint Kathleen DeWolf as advice Perlak committee nominee.
I'll
member.
second- I'll second said motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Any abstentions? You abstaining?
Yes, oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
You gotta vote for
3-0-1.
For yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much. You have a new Prelac member.
Thank
lady.
you.
All right.
Okay.
Got lost there.
It's all right. It happens to all of us.
The last thing, I should have just put these all under me, huh? Is the DES Waste Management Post-Closure Monitoring Report for the landfill. Usually they just sign these. Jeff Martz, who's at Emery and Garrett, signs it, but DES is requesting that we sign these now. Pretty straightforward, we sign it, you know, I mean, if you want to make a motion, I'll sign it. But then we send this off to DES. As for the report, nothing came back.
Good, good.
It looks good, he
Yeah.
said, you know, excellent condition and performing according to its design. So there's
Yeah,
no
that's nice.
methane was detected on site buildings or any perimeter gas probes.
Beautiful picture. Great place for some solar panels.
Yeah,
Yep.
It is.
No, Laconia just did 14 acres of those.
Craig's
They
nodding
did.
his head.
that's what I heard.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
So I would entertain a motion to have Charlie sign this for us.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? No? 3-0. Okay. I actually have one other thing that I would like to add to the select board items.
I have a report too.
Oh, you do? Okay, go ahead then, Lee.
You want me to do mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do also.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Our March 20th Heritage Commission meeting, we discussed our separate bank account and a 91-A request for year-end encumbrances, which was made to the office. We decided on 3 firms to request proposals for the work on Town Hall, which we discussed earlier. They're Sam and Delia, Christopher Williams, and SMP Architects. We discussed police signage and lifeguard costs for the Squamstock proposals, and we discussed possible Squamstock dates of June 2nd and 23rd, July 3rd and 14th, and the month of September, which the consensus thought that September would be the best. Our planning board meeting last week spent the entire time discussing the Downs home occupation application, which I brought up this evening, and the letter from the code enforcement officer concerning a planning board decision. All board members are going to be attending the April 28th State Land Use Conference, and a reminder to the public that we have 2 vacancies open still on the planning board, and we would welcome residents to call Town Hall if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I went to water and sewer, and it was quite lengthy meeting, yeah. They reorganized, sorry about my voice. Dave Toth's the chair, Alan Silly's the vice chair. They thanked the voters for supporting the RSF and the assessment management warrants. I'll try to cut this down. They're working on all the paperwork to send it to DES for the SRF loan. And the sewer side works with Woodard and Curran. And so they're working on the contract for the building equipment and constructions. How they're going to plan to operate the septic bypass during construction, purchase agreement for equipment with a 3 to 6 month lead time for purchase. On their business meetings, they're going to have phone discussions with Woodward and Curran by phone during the work sessions. Discussion with DES for the asset management plan that will be tailored to the town's specific needs and how it will interface with the GIS plan. Part of the discussion will be determined to upgrade the lagoons or a conventional wastewater treatment plant. DES on a statewide level is starting to look ahead to transition from the old-fashioned lagoons to wastewater treatment plants. Discussion with DES about what minimum rates should be set at, and Ashland is different because of the amount of septic receiving they bring in. They're going to continue to finish their office space for meetings. Reevaluating line items with the accountant. Some are no longer valid, some are new to ensure transparency. They're using a free domain for the GIS software that is not user-friendly. Data can be transferred when training for the new system. This will be included in the asset management plan. This is my favorite. Fog inspections, fat, oil, and grease, which is required by DES for restaurants. So think about that. So, Highland Street and Winona Road upgrades, along as a continuing discussion on Thompson Street, because they have 3 years left on the engineering plans. Then I caught the tail end of the library trustees meeting because I got distracted by the new books that they had just brought into the library. I was standing on the stairs, but it took me a while to make it upstairs. So I know they were talking about budget issues, and the thing that I participated in was how to encourage more participation in programs. But as I have witnessed, I belong to the Monday night monthly reading group, and in January and February, surprisingly, we had so many that showed up. I think there was 10 of us. There weren't enough chairs. 2 people sat on kiddie chairs from the children's room. 1 person sat on the floor. So it's really hard to encourage people to come in if you don't have proper seating for them. And as I promised, I finished my bingo. You can pick up your sheet at the library. And I got my tote bag.
All right.
So yes, you have to read 5 books down across diagonally, and they made sure that each book I took out within the time frame, because those ladies watch everything. That I couldn't cheat on reading the
That's
book.
gonna, yeah. How'd they know you read it?
I tried. I said,
Did you have to write a book report?
no, but they knew. They said, no, we know when you picked up the sheet, so anything from January doesn't count. So,
Alright.
but I did it. I got my 5 books. The other they're doing is the Book Spine Poetry Contest, and they've had a few people participate. It's kind of interesting. You pick out, you read the titles on the spine, and it makes poetry. Examples are, and she was looking for me the whole world over, and that's from 3 books. The titles of 3 books. Line them up, and you have poetry. At first I went, it does take a bit of thinking to do this.
Interesting.
This one, 4 books. One More Day, My Absolute Darling. I See You Everywhere. Goodbye, Earl. And the last one they used was Dear Bob and Sue, Always Fear Nothing, Promise Me. So that's ongoing, and everybody should get their magnet with the hours on.
We have those at the town office.
So,
Nice.
that's what's happening at the library.
Anything to report, Jason?
Very good.
I actually have one more that I got at the end of Friday. Kendall Hughes is requested to be appointed to the Heritage Commission. I forwarded this email to you guys today. I don't know if you want to take up that appointment now, or
Any opinions upon
there
that?
is an open spot.
Do you want to wait till Fran's back?
Yeah, and there's one expiring.
Yeah. In my opinion, I take a consensus, but I think that would be something best handled when we have a full table
I
here.
think so
Okay.
too. So,
That's fine.
I'll add it to the
Is that a
next agenda.
consensus?
Sure.
I have one thing. I read the minutes on our website. They're splendidly displayed for all of our townspeople to read. One thing that I came upon is I've noticed that the electric department has started putting their minutes on there, and I greatly appreciate that.
Nice.
The only thing that I had a question about is reading their minutes of January 23rd, February 13th, and the 27th. I see that they're planning on electrifying the building. And when we all had our presentation, the statement was that it wasn't in the plans to electrify that building.
That's right.
yeah.
And it was a whole sideshow that we had, about an hour presentation of how there wasn't going to be electricity in
Right,
that building
yeah.
because it
Correct.
was below grade. And I mean, we can go
Yeah,
back and look at the
I
minutes.
remember.
So I just wanted to bring that to everybody in the board's attention, that was in there on our website. My only concern is that I thought we had some other outstanding issues that needed to be done on that building.
vegetative-
Yeah, there was the swale and
Yeah.
outside the
And
drainage.
something about soil, stockpile of
Yes.
soil, and there was one other one. I just wanted to make sure that we as a board were all aware of this, and
Okay.
that perhaps we should ask the liaison to perhaps invite them forward to speak with us about it.
Yes.
Where it is a town property,
Good
a town
idea.
building. Maybe that might be something that we could do, because that's something that we should,
Yes,
I guess I'll entertain a motion. I don't want to be steering here.
I entertain the motion that our liaison to the Electric Commission invite them to discuss these.
Okay.
To the next meeting?
Whenever it works in for Charlie.
April
next meeting.
16th is our
Yep.
next meeting.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Should I abstain? I mean, I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, well then, I guess you need to
Say,
abstain.
aye, I got it.
No abstain.
Okay, so 4-0 on that, okay. Great.
Good catch, Harold.
Yeah, well,
catch.
you gotta, eagle eye. Gotta
Good
find
catch.
stuff. That's all I had. Does anybody else have a selection item? No? Okay. Wendy, do we have any public comment this evening? Did anybody sign up for that, anything on the agenda?
We didn't have the forum, but do we have any public comment?
No?
I was wondering, can I just say something as
Yep.
contract director?
Yep.
On April 20th, we're having Kids Night Out.
Nice.
On the 21st, we're having an Easter egg hunt, and so to everybody, it's free. I know it's late, but I needed the field, I needed the snow gone. And we are planning April vacation camp, and there are things online for all 3.
Nice.
Just wanted to get that out there.
We appreciate the program too.
Yeah.
It's great.
Didn't even think about the snow for the eggs. Yeah.
Any other business, any other comments? No?
No?
Okay. Okay, on that, I would entertain a motion to go into non-public pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, numeral 2.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oops.